Now, I'm Silky Ukina. I wish I could painting tutor, and now I'm going to demonstrate some simple basic watercolor techniques. I believe that everyone's an artist. If you've got an interest in fine art, if you like looking at other people's pictures and fancy having a go, you're probably, you've probably got an inner artist waiting in there to burst out. So why not give my simple techniques a try and see what happens. So, hope you enjoy this. Right, here we are. This is my third attempt at doing this little basic watercolour demo because I had a technical issue with storage on my iPhone. So now I've got somebody else's. And here are the basic materials I'm using. I'm using a board. I've got 200 grams of watercolour paper. I've stuck it down with sticky tape, and I have a palette of yellow, red and blue, French ultramarine, alizarin crimson, and this yellow is cadmium lemon. I've got a nice big jar of water, sea salt and 2 brushes. So what I'm going to be doing first of all now is I'm going to tilt my board and make a brush nice and wet, and I'm going to run the brush across the paper, just making it nice and wet from top to bottom, giving it a good covering. You might have to tilt it to see against the light whether actually it's all wet, because this technique is wet in wet. This is one of my favorite techniques because you are completely out of control. Well, very out of control. And the colour and the water will do its own thing. So I'm just going to demonstrate how we do wet in wet. What is this, a basic wash? And I'm going to make a little yellow wash. I'm going to use some water and a little bit of the cadmium yellow, and I'm going to just go across from one side to the other. I've got plenty of colour in there, so I'm going to pick up from the bottom of the last stroke and go from one side to the rest, to the next. I'm not going across anything. When we're doing this kind of painting, we want it to do its own thing, and you might see already there's a little bit of granulation happening. The colour is running and it's forming some patterns of its own, and that is the charm of watercolour painting, because you are just picking it up from the bottom of the last stroke and then making a new one. So I'm going to now from red, I'm going to go to blue, and here we are. So we've gone with the primary colours from top to bottom. So you can see there's some lovely patterns forming where the colours bleeding, and what you can do now is really tilt it around in different directions and allow the colour to run a bit more and mingle and mix. Then I'm going to have the board flat and add some more colour here and there. This is not a painting, this is just an abstract thing, so I'm just adding watery colour blobs here and there. As you can see, that's already turning into green up there because blue and yellow makes green. So here we are, I'm putting in some nice strong red. I'm not mixing a lot of water in with this to make it nice and strong, and also I'm putting in some more yellow here and there. It's totally abstract. You'd be just messing around, adding more colour. Here you go, a bit more green. Use up that blue and yellow, which obviously makes it green. So clean the brush, rest it on top of the jar so the tip doesn't get ruined. And now we're doing it again. We are just allowing all this lovely paint to run a bit. I quite like that. So I'm just going to leave it like this, and now I'm going to add my sea salt, and basically I'm just sprinkling it all over, and then I'm going to leave it to dry. It's a nice warm day today, very sunny and hot, so it shouldn't take long to dry. One of the things with watercolour to bear in mind when you paint is that when the colour goes on, it always looks much stronger. It dries pale. The salt will have an effect of drawing the water out, and that will form little patterns which we will see later. So here we are now. This is the last little project I did with watercolour, wet in wet, adding different colours, red, yellow and blue. And the crystals have now dried. The water has dried on the picture, and now what you can do is you can sort of brush it all off and chuck that away into a bin, and obviously brush it a bit more if you want to, and then you end up with quite a nice little colourful painting. You could use sections of it for a card, for instance, if you wanted to, or you can use it for doing a poem on, or a little saying with calligraphy. So it's quite a nice little thing to start off with, and I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you.